Well, hello there. If you're anything like me, you find people absolutely fascinating, not just in a let's have a good old gossip sort of way. Though there's always time for that, isn't there? I mean, really looking at what makes us all tick. I've been incredibly lucky in my life, you see. My big red chair has been a revolving door of accents, attitudes, and anecdotes from every corner of the globe. It's like having the world come to you for a chat and a bit of a laugh. This has given me a rather unique front row seat to the wonderful and sometimes baffling variety of human nature. It's a bit like being a people watcher, but I get paid for it. What a gig! This whole experience has made me realize that while we're all just people, the place we come from really does sprinkle a bit of its own magic or perhaps its own spice into our personalities. You can often get a little clue about someone from their accent or their mannerisms before they've even told you their name. It's not about putting people in boxes, not at all. It's more about appreciating the different flavors the world has to offer. It's like a massive, glorious buffet of humanity, and I've always been keen to try a bit of everything. Some are sweet, some are sour, and some are just fantastically, brilliantly bonkers. My travels and my show have taken me on a grand tour of personalities. I've met stoic Scandinavians who take a moment to warm up but are lovely once they do, and boisterous Brazilians who hug you like a long-lost friend within seconds. Each encounter adds another layer to my understanding, another story to my collection. It's the little differences that make life so interesting, don't you think? Imagine how terribly dull it would be if we were all exactly the same. We'd have nothing to talk about. The world would be one long, monotonous hum. Thank goodness for a bit of variety. So, I've developed a few soft spots over the years. I've formed my own little opinions. My personal favorites, if you will. This isn't science, mind you, it's just my honest take. Based on the wonderful, weird, and downright hilarious people I've had the pleasure of meeting. It's all in good fun, a celebration of the quirks that make us who we are. And I have to be honest, after all these years and all these conversations, there's one group of people who have consistently charmed the socks right off me. They just have that certain something, that special sparkle. I'll never forget the time I met a Scottish lady while traveling abroad. We were both waiting for our coffee in a little cafe, and I overheard her humming the theme tune to a classic Scottish TV show. Naturally, I couldn't resist starting a conversation. We ended up chatting for ages about our favorite episodes, and she told me she was from Inverness. There was just something about her warmth and wit that made the whole encounter unforgettable. That's the magic I'm talking about. Now let's get to it. My absolute favorites, if I had to pick a team, would be the Scottish. Oh, I just love them. There's something so wonderfully genuine and down-to-earth about them. It starts with the accent, of course. It's like a warm, woolly blanket on a cold day. It's got a musicality to it, a lovely rolling rhythm that makes you want to lean in and listen. It can be soft and gentle one moment, then strong and full of passion the next. You just know you're in for a good story when you hear that delightful burr. It's an accent that feels honest somehow, but it goes far beyond the way they speak. It's their attitude. Scottish people seem to have this brilliant knack for not taking themselves too seriously. They have a fantastic, dry sense of humor and a healthy dose of cynicism that I find incredibly endearing. They can laugh at themselves, they can laugh at the world, and they can certainly laugh at you, but always with a twinkle in their eye. There's a real warmth there, a friendliness that feels completely unforced. It's as if they're always ready for a good chat and a pint, no matter who you are. It's a very welcoming spirit. I had a memorable experience a few years ago in a hotel lobby. I heard a woman talking on her phone and I just knew. I knew instantly she was from Glasgow. It wasn't just the accent, it was the whole energy. I'd been watching a Scottish sitcom, you see, and had the sound of it in my head. I couldn't help myself. I waited until she finished her call and said, "Excuse me, you have the most wonderful accent. It sounds just like Glasgow." Her face lit up with a huge smile and she replied, "Och, you're spot on, son. How did you guess?" We ended up having a lovely chat for about 20 minutes just standing there in the lobby. She told me all about her trip, her family, and her cat. It was like we were old friends. That's the thing I adore. There are no airs or graces, no pretense. It's just straight up honest-to-goodness human connection. She was just so open and kind, a perfect stranger who felt like a neighbor. That encounter really stuck with me as the perfect example of that special Scottish charm. It's a real gift, that ability to make anyone feel at ease. Now on the other end of the spectrum we have the French, particularly Parisians. And let me be clear, I love Paris. The city is stunning, the food is divine, but the people, well, they can be a different story. There's a certain pride, a kind of aloofness that you often encounter. It feels like they are guarding the gates of their magnificent culture, and you, the tourist, are a bit of an inconvenience. You try your best with a little bonjour and merci, but you often get a cool, appraising stare in return. It can be quite intimidating, really. Of course, this is a massive generalization, and I've met some wonderfully warm and lovely French people. But the stereotype of the proud Parisian definitely comes from a place of truth. They carry themselves with an air of sophistication, and seem to believe, quite firmly, that their way is the best way. Their language, their food, their fashion, it's all presented with a sense of superiority. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's a deep-seated cultural pride. But for an outsider just trying to buy a croissant, it can feel a little bit frosty. It's a very different energy from the Scottish welcome. Then you have the Americans, specifically white Americans. What a whirlwind they are. They are the complete opposite of the reserved Parisian. Americans are so direct, so straightforward. They will tell you their life story within 5 minutes of meeting you. There's an incredible energy about them, a can-do attitude that is both impressive and, at times, a little exhausting. They are friendly, oh yes, incredibly so. They'll smile, they'll chat, they'll invite you to their barbecue. But there can be a touch of arrogance there too, an unspoken assumption that America is the center of the universe. This mix of friendliness and self-assurance is fascinating. They are hard-working and incredibly optimistic, which is wonderful to be around. But their directness can sometimes come across as blunt. They don't really do subtlety. You always know exactly where you stand with an American, which can be refreshing. They are a bundle of contradictions, loud but friendly, a bit arrogant but also very generous. They are full of life and enthusiasm, and while it might be a bit much for a quiet afternoon, you can't deny their passion. It's a completely different flavor in our global buffet. So after all my people watching, what's the big conclusion? Well, it's that stereotypes are a bit of fun, a starting point, but they are never the whole story. Every country has its own cultural flavor, a general mood that you can sense. The Scots have their earthy humor, the Parisians have their chic pride, and the Americans have their boundless, booming energy. These are the colors they are painted with, but the real picture is always in the details of the individual person. You can't judge a whole nation by a few encounters. I've met grumpy Scots, shy Americans, and Parisians who were as warm and welcoming as a long-lost aunt. People will always manage to surprise you, and that's the joy of it all, isn't it? The world would be terribly predictable if everyone fit neatly into their national box. It's the exceptions to the rule that often make for the best stories and the most meaningful connections. You might go to Scotland expecting a laugh and find a profound conversation instead. You never really know what you're going to get, and that's the magic of it. Ultimately, my preference for the Scottish way of being is just that, a personal preference. I connect with their brand of humor and their down-to-earth nature. It resonates with me. Someone else might adore the Parisian reserve or the American enthusiasm, and that's absolutely brilliant. It takes all sorts to make a world, and our different preferences are just part of the rich tapestry. The important thing is to keep an open mind and treat everyone as an individual, not as a walking, talking cliché from a travel guide. So my advice is to get out there and meet people. Talk to strangers in hotel lobbies, try your terrible French in a Parisian bakery, listen to the stories of a chatty American. Every conversation is a little adventure, a chance to see the world through someone else's eyes. And while I'll always have a special place in my heart for a Glaswegian accent and a dry sense of wit, the real prize is the joy of discovering that no matter where we come from, we're all just people, looking for a bit of a chat and a laugh.